Well, good morning. Coach Ted here with another edition of Coffee with Coach Ted. I'm happy to be here with you this morning. I hope you are well and enjoying your day, whatever time of day it is for you that you're watching me. I know it's really early on the West Coast right now, but it's a little bit later across the pond over in England and the continent. Anyway, so I'm in the middle of presenting from an article called The Secrets of the ADHD Brain. And I know this material is not a how-to. It's not solving any particular problems, but hopefully I believe this information is really important for us to know, as it explains a lot about how our behavior and how we respond to other people. And I hope that you're finding it valuable. So yesterday, I was talking about why we are so sensitive. Hi, Louisa. Welcome. So I skipped a page, so I'm going to go back over some other material about why we're so sensitive. So the author, Dr. Dawson, says emotional disruptions are the most impairing aspects of the condition of ADHD at any age. And he says, for example, nearly everyone with ADHD answers an emphatic yes to the question, have you always been more sensitive than others to rejection, teasing, criticism, or your own perception that you have failed or fallen short? I can certainly relate to that last part, the perception that I failed or fallen short, definitely, and criticism too. So when you ask people with ADHD to elaborate on it, they say, I'm always tense, I can never relax, I can't just sit there and watch a TV program with the rest of the family. I can't turn my brain and body off to go to sleep at night because I'm sensitive to my perception that other people disapprove of me. I am fearful in personal interactions. They're describing the inner experience of being hyperactive or hyper-aroused. Remember that most kids after age 14 don't show overt hyperactivity, but it's still present internally. The hyperactivity goes inside our brain and our body, if you ask them about it. I wonder if some of you watching this relate to that experience I just described. He goes on to say the emotional response to the perception of failure is catastrophic for those with ADHD. He says most people with ADHD report that they can hardly stand it. They are not wimps. Disapproval hurts them much more than it hurts neurotypical people. If emotional pain is internalized, a person may experience depression and loss of self-esteem in the short run. If emotions are externalized, pain can be expressed as rage at the person or situation that wounded them. So our emotions can get pretty extreme. And then he goes on to say, in the long term, there are two personality outcomes. The person with ADHD becomes a people pleaser, always making sure that friends, acquaintances, and family approve of them. After years of constant vigilance, the ADHD person becomes a chameleon who's lost track of what he or she wants for their own life. And others find the pain of failure is so bad that they refuse to try anything unless they are assured of a quick, easy, complete success. Taking a chance is too big an emotional risk. Their lives remain stunted and limited. And certainly I've run across people who have that experience, and it can be very sad. This rejection sensitivity can look like depression, but it is not depression at all, but the ADHD nervous system's instantaneous response to the trigger of rejection. So again, what he's talking here about is what he calls the interest-based nervous system of the ADHD individual. So that's all about, push the button here. That's all about why we're so sensitive. So now we go on to talk why we are overwhelmed. Because people in the ADHD world experience life more intensely, more passionately than neurotypicals. And it's true. We really get excited and passionate about things. They have a low threshold for outside sensory experience because the day-to-day experience of their five senses and their thoughts is always on high volume. The ADHD nervous system is overwhelmed by life experience because its intensity is so high. So we're saying our nervous system is always on alert. It's always, he calls it high volume. He says the ADHD nervous system is rarely at rest. It wants to be engaged in something interesting and challenging. Attention is never, quote unquote, deficit. It is always excessive, constantly occupied with internal reveries and engagements. So that's the hyperactive mind. When people with ADHD are not in the zone, in hyperfocus, they have 4 or 5 things rattling around in their minds all at once for no obvious reason. Nothing gets done well. Nothing gets sustained undivided attention. And he talks about many people with ADHD can't screen out sensory input. They're so always being distracted by what's going on around them. Turning the page. So for instance, the slightest sound in the house prevents falling asleep and overwhelms the ability to disregard it. That's true for me. I can't be anywhere where it can be very quiet, but if there's a small sound, I find it very disruptive. Any movement, no matter how small, is distracting. Certain smells, which others barely notice, cause people with ADHD to leave the room. He says people with ADHD have their worlds constantly disrupted by experiences of which the neurotypical is unaware. And this this disruption enforces the perception of the ADHD person as being odd, prickly, demanding, and high maintenance. So it gives people a really wrong impression of us. But this is all they have ever known. It is their normal. The notion of being different and that difference being perceived as unacceptable by others is made a part of how they are regarded as part of their identity. So that's about why we get overwhelmed, because our minds, our sensory systems are always on high alert. And the last topic I'm going to talk about this morning is why we love a crisis. And basically, he says sometimes a person with ADHD can hit the do or die deadline and produce lots of high quality work in a short time. So I've had that experience. I know my clients and other people I've talked to have this experience. A whole semester of studies crammed into a single night of hyper-focused perfection. I remember in college, that's not too far off. Some people with ADHD create crises to generate the adrenaline to get them engaged and functional. The masters of disasters, I guess that's us, handle high intensity crises with ease, only to fall apart when things become routine again. Just decided so that adrenaline that we generate at the last minute, when something is at the last minute, it gets us focused, and able to do the tasks that we've been putting off, procrastinating on, it works the same in our brains as stimulant medication, because adrenaline is a stimulant. So like Ritalin or Adderall, it's a way of self-medicating, actually, and it's very unhealthy. It says lurching from crisis to crisis, however, is a tough way to live. And it says the price that they pay for their productivity is so high, something they may be seen as even having personality disorders. Adrenaline, having that much adrenaline in your body regularly is very unhealthy. It can be very damaging in the long run. So it's 9:42. I hope I have left. I can finish up this tomorrow. There's still very much to go. So we'll wrap that for today. My usual closing remarks. One, if you have any questions or comments about today's material, please put them in a comment. Or if you have a question or topic you'd like me to talk about in a future Coffee with Coach Ted, please put that there too. I do very much pay attention to those. If you're not a member of my Live Fully with ADHD Facebook group, I suggest you check it out. It's a good group of people. We have over 200 in the group now. And I ask questions often about various things that are going on with people to get their input and their experience. People ask for support, offer support to each other. It's a really good group. I'll post the link in the comment. If you would like to connect with me further, please type a comment, #connect, and I'll be in touch with you by private message, and we can set up a time to talk. I always look forward to connecting with members of my community. And finally, if you're watching this as a replay, I haven't been smiling much this morning. Type #replay so I know you were here. Always like to know who's been watching. So that's it for Coffee with Coach Ted this morning. I don't know if you can read this. May 31, 1992. This was a AIDS action march in 1992. I still have the cup. Coffee with Coach Ted. Have a great day, and I will be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and I look forward to having you here. Take care. Bye-bye.